Hi, everybody. Welcome to Why Real Estate. I'm excited about this episode. We've got a great guest on here with us this week. His name's Harry Black from InspectUp. This is in regards to the due diligence condition that exists in a real estate purchase contract. Absolutely critical. I'm grateful Harry's here with us. He's an absolute expert on the subject. Highly recommend him and his business. There are a lot of great inspectors out there as well, and it's important that you are able to find the one that works best for you and your family during the due diligence process. So Harry,
yes,
great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you get involved in the media space, and happy to be on, and hopefully I can share some good content with your listeners.
No, I'm looking forward to it, and it's just something he does every day, which I would highly encourage you to listen carefully to what Harry has to share. And let's just start with the most basic question. Why is a home inspection important for a buyer?
In most cases, a real estate purchase is going to be the largest, most important investment a person ever makes, right? So why wouldn't you want to take the additional steps to protect that investment? That's exactly what a home inspection is. It allows you to understand fully what your investment, the condition of it is, and helps you prevent, unknown issues that could arise down the road.
And granted, Harry's not coming in and tearing down the walls and, uncovering every piece of concrete to see how stable it is, right? I mean, it's within reason, and do not buy a home unless you get an inspection done. Like, what are some of the most common things that you find that could be wrong with the home, even the most subtle or basic thing?
Well, as an average, out of every 100 inspections done nationally, about 20 of those inspections come up with roofing issues, about 19 come up with electrical issues, and another 19 come up with window issues. So those are the top three most common items you'll find in a home inspection report. And they could be big, small, doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not there to tell you what has to be done, right? I'm making recommendations. And I think that's a very important distinction, because as a home buyer, you want to be wise with your money, right? You're making a big investment. So I'm there to educate you on the condition of components of the house, and what you do with that information is up to you. So I'm just trying to empower the buyer and help them understand the condition of their home.
And I always appreciate the way that Harry presents that data. Obviously, it comes in a great electronic format where you can scroll through it easily with pictures included, a description. It's not like this long diatribe or novel that you're trying to get through. It's something that he cuts to the chase, and he highlights the things that you should pay attention to, that without obviously talking you out of or blowing up the cell in any way. He's got a great touch when you do that. I know that. But what are some of the common things that you would say would bring the most concern to a homeowner?
Well, foundation issues, I know most people are always asking about, right? So foundation issues are expensive and costly, and sometimes they can be a little hard to uncover. I'm taking every possible measure to carefully inspect the foundation walls, the structure of the home. Other, the major systems being electrical, plumbing, roof, heating, cooling. Those are the more, big ticket items that might cost an investor or a home buyer a lot down the road if they do not properly have those systems inspected. Something like your heating system, you might not even notice this is happening, but it could be cycling, where it has limit switches in it that if temperature gets too high, or if airflow is not strong enough, it'll shut itself down, telling, the system tells it that something's not right. It'll shut itself down, kick itself back on, try again. So somebody who hasn't had this system looked at or evaluated in a while might not even know that this is happening, because the heat comes on, it heats for a couple minutes, and then it shuts off. To most people, that's normal. But when I come in and I inspect it, I let it run for 10 minutes, make sure that it runs smoothly without issue, because if it is shutting itself down, it could be indicative of a larger issue, and you might need to replace that system, which could end up costing a home buyer quite a lot.
So at that point, you're getting into what is, ROI, on your money, right?
Of course.
And so the cost of a home inspection generally can be anywhere from $450 to $700, right?
Yeah, the national average is closer to $400.
Okay.
So a lot of factors play into that: size, age of the homes, where, what part of the country you're in, how the real estate market is doing. But on average, about $400. And when you're looking in the scope of, a home purchase, it's pretty much pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, the average home in the U.S. is around $350,000 purchase price, right?
Right.
Here in Utah,
A little
we're
higher.
up over $600,000, right?
So less than 1%.
And so that
yeah.
small amount to invest to verify that the home is in the condition that you can be satisfied with. Is there a perfect home without any issues? Absolutely not. Even new builds.
Right.
I mean, would you recommend somebody hire an inspector for a new build? Their inspector. Obviously, you're going to do a walkthrough with the superintendent of the build.
Yeah.
And their guy, the builders. But what about an independent inspector?
Yeah. I get this conversation all the time because, especially in Utah, new builds are kind of the hot commodity right now. Mm-hmm. And everybody thinks, oh, it's new. It went through inspections by the city, so it must be in perfect condition.
Including a 4-way.
Yes. And in my experience, that has never been the case. I've never inspected a perfect home. Now, my recommendations might be very, very small, but regardless, I still think the buyer likes getting good information as much as they do information that they can act upon.
And I want to give you an example. When you're building houses in volume, like a lot of the tract builders that are here in Utah, right? It's easy to overlook things. This isn't to harp on anyone. I'm not going to mention a builder's name that this happened with, but we hired Harry, a young couple, first-time home buyers that had a basement apartment. It was ideal for them because they could subsidize their income and their payment, right, mm-hmm. by having someone rent the basement. Had a separate entrance, all set up. Well, we go down there and Harry's looking at the house, and I don't know if you remember this, but the countertop had not been attached to the cabinets. Mm-hmm. Okay, not to say that the builder wouldn't have come back and fixed it.
Right.
But it's powerful to be able to say, hey, can you fix this, especially on a new home? I mean, the report should basically be unblemished, mm-hmm. right? And there were other smaller things as well with that house that had issues.
Another one for you, we had a tub that didn't have hot water.
Oh, that's right.
So unless you only like ice baths, wouldn't have been a good situation for the buyer.
Cold plungers are popular right now, but maybe not all the time.
And all the time I see missing insulation. Could be in a bay, like just one singular bay in a wall, whatever it may be. But those are things that often get missed. And using thermal imaging, we can uncover things like that.
So to wrap this up, Harry, what would you, if someone's looking to hire an inspector, what are some things that they should look out for, that they should do in this search?
Yeah, so I think you can hire based on 3 principles. It's cost, quality, and value. So value kind of mixing in both cost and quality, right? But cost, you get shoppers who want to just buy the cheapest inspector. You get what you pay for. And that's fine. I understand that there are inspectors out there who undercut other inspectors to get more jobs. And as long as they're getting hired, I mean, there's no shame in that. Value, you might be paying, if you're going off of quality, you might be paying a little extra, but you're going to get the highest quality inspection, really thorough, probably a lot more recommendations and notes in the report. You'll probably be able to use that report to negotiate for a lower asking purchase price on the home.
Or concessions from
the
seller. Right,
exactly. And then value can mean a lot of different things for different people. For me, I think value, for example, a value add that we do is a free radon test with every inspection. In most cases, that's a $200 service, and we do it free of charge with all of our inspections inside our service area because Utah happens to have really high radon levels. And so there's different ways to add value. We also do an hour-long walkthrough with all of our clients at the end of the inspection, so we can communicate those in person and walk through the house with them. Really, it just boils down to what the buyer wants from a home inspector, what their expectations are, and I would go online and read through the reviews.
And there's obviously some certification levels that are highly recommended that you go through.
Yeah, Utah, for example, does not require certification. They don't offer licensure. So you need to be careful about who you're hiring and make sure you dig around on the internet, ask around, and get as much information as possible before you hire. Because most people only consider one inspector, and most people take the recommendation of the realtor. And you just want to make sure that you're getting the right guy for the job.
Boy, this is great information. Highly recommend getting an inspection done. Very critical, the information there. The cost compared to the value is entirely justifiable, especially when you're talking about what is largely the most expensive purchase for the majority of people on this earth, mm-hmm. The buying of their personal residence. So thank you, Harry, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.